when the internet was fringe culture, threatening mainstream culture, then it was more like the equivalent of putting Bart Simpson or South Park on TV.
Right.
Once we hooked up money to the internet, then it changes. So now having fringe culture on there means, oh, maybe my banking is not safe. Right. Having fringe business on there means, Wall Street is not safe. So it really changed it. The net had to become way more serious once it became the poster child for the salvation of the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. Right. In 1987, there was the biotech boom and bust. Then Wired came and other prognosticators and said, don't worry, the internet will increase the surface area on the marketplace, so now we'll get infinite expansion again.
Right.
And it didn't work. We got the dot-com boom and bust. Then we got social media, which again started to look interesting to me.
Right.
Culture, blogging, Evan Williams, we're all gonna just talk and play. You did weblogs and all.
Right.
This was like, oh my God, content is back. We're back, the people, we're talking, we're changing.
Sure.
And then, all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute, social can become the new business because data is now valuable.
Right.
So all these kids who have no money, don't worry, you don't have to pay with money, you can pay with your data. So now, as I look at it, we're in this data glut. Advertising, marketing, market research has never taken up more than 3 or 4% of GDP. But we're expecting Facebook and Google and Twitter and all these companies and these giant valuations to depend on data. And it's just, that's not the ultimate exit strategy.
And these companies, though, have become global. The internet has become global. And this device, nobody really anticipated that broadband would come to this device and we'd be able to watch HBO, or that this thing Netflix wouldn't be shipping us DVDs, but it would be actually producing the best television or some of the best television available.
Yeah, which is another, I love it, don't get me wrong. I love that Amazon's making content. As someone who likes watching TV and hopefully gets to sometimes make TV, couldn't be better. But I understand that this is artificial, that there's these huge war chests of VC trying to help these different companies leverage.
Right.
Netflix spent what on content? How many billion?
It's going to be a couple billion this year, 2 or 3 billion.
I know. So, in the end, they're spending their war chest to try to get, it's Netflix versus HBO versus Amazon to see who can dominate this space. But in the end, most of the time, it seems to be only one kind of platform monopoly player that comes in and rules the day.
Right. So the book, let's talk a little bit about the title.
Yeah.
It was a surreal moment in San Francisco when these black buses started rolling around and driving people, high-paid employees from San Francisco down to the Google headquarters, the Facebook headquarters. And it was an even more bizarre sight to see people, anarchists protesting it, anti-commercial, anti-capitalists protesting the Google bus. One of them vomited on the bus. One of them broke the windows.
Yeah.
Why is that such a seminal moment for you?
Well, for me, it epitomizes the way that, well-meaning though they may have been, that Google's growth is not translating into prosperity on the ground. So Google's employees, I understand they want to live in San Francisco. It's a cool place. So San Francisco becomes almost like a Hollywood backdrop to Silicon Valley, but the prosperity of the company is not making the region prosperous. Right. So the programmers live there, the rents in the area double, triple, quadruple.
More than New York.
More than New York. If you're in the area near a bus stop, it's 30% even higher than it is everywhere else. And now people look at these, these buses, these private buses using public bus stops to transport these kind of alien employees back to the mothership. It epitomized the way a company with so much promise, two kids in their Stanford dorm room coming up with an algorithm to take down Yahoo, which you and I remember, they were the big bad guys. Yahoo, they're going to organize, and they're going to organize the net for us from the top down. This was going to be a bottom-up, people-driven, link-to-link algorithm.
Index the world's knowledge.
Exactly, and then these two kids become part of that, it seems anyway, part of the NSA, part of Wall Street, part of the biggest, baddest kind of guys on the block. They're not even Google, they're Alphabet. So they're not even a technology company, but they're a holding company. And the way it grew and abstracted, it felt as if the company was pursuing growth for growth's sake rather than its original mission of enabling the bottom-up, people-driven revolution that they were born in.
Let me take a moment to tell you all about one of my favorite services in the world, Audible. Yes, I spend time in a car, I spend time on airplanes, in the back of Ubers, and I need to be learning constantly. So I use Audible. I have a platinum edition, and I download books by the dozen. I'm not kidding. And then I flip back and forth between them, whether my mood is for history and learning more about the world. I've been listening to this very interesting book called Sapiens, or I want to listen to something from people in our industry and learn from a classic like Good to Great, or sometimes I just want to have something like Shadow Divers or some interesting non-fiction book that I can get into, right? I want to give you one book I've read that is just amazing, and it's A Guide to the Good Life, The Ancient Art of Stoic Joy by William Irvine. It's very important, I think, for entrepreneurs to listen to this book. Now, you'd say Stoicism, a school of philosophy. Why would you recommend that, Jason? Don't you have something about growing my email list, or 0 to 1, or Good to Great, or the 5 dysfunctions of a team? These things that are more practical. Well, here's the thing. Stoicism is something that lives inside of you. It's your ability to appreciate what you have and to manage the things you have control over, the things you don't have control over, and the things that, in a very challenging way, you have partial control over. And, it had a big effect on me. It doesn't mean I'm a stoic, but it means you can be more stoic in your approach to life and appreciate what you have. It's a really, really great book. You also want to check out Smarter, Faster, Better, The Man Who Knew Affinity. I've been listening to The Hobbit with my daughter. I told you guys about that. And you can get all of this for free at audible.com/twist, audible.com/TWIST. Get your 30-day trial membership. And you can download my book of the week by going there. Creativity Inc. is another great one. We had Ed Catmull on the program. It took Emmy Award-winning producer Jackie over a year to get him on the program, and boy, was that worth it, because the book is so, so good. You know this already, but you can use Audible on your iPhone, your iPad, Android, and Windows, and you own your books, which is great. And they have Whisper Sync, which lets you sync between your audiobook and your Kindle. I read in the car. I read on my headphones. I've been going for these walks trying to lose a little bit of weight, so I got my Fitbit, and then I listen to my Audible. It's a great way to kill an hour or two, get smarter, get healthier, get out there, do your walking, get your 10,000 steps. And you know what? Try to listen to 2 books a month. That's my challenge for you. That's what I try to do. I try to do 2 books a month because I want to be smarter. And every smart person I've ever met in my life, you know what they have in common? Aside from being friends with me? They read books. Smart people read books. If you stop reading books because you're too busy, it's time for you to get back on the wagon and start reading at least a book a month. My recommendation, 2 books a month. Go to audible.com/twist. Thank you, Audible, for making a great product. I love it. Okay, let's get back to this episode.